Hey, what is up? How is everybody doing? What's going on today? Streaming live, Facebook, setting up on Instagram right now as we speak. Long time no see. What is up? What's up? Today, on today's show, I'm going to be talking to you about mobility and sex. Let's roll the intro. Finish and we're gonna be behind the scene. What's going on, family? Oli here. It's been a while, man. It's been a while, and if you're watching this, if it's your first time here today, be sure to like, subscribe to all the channels, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Listen to the podcast. Be sure to subscribe to that as well. And man, you want to stick to this video, to this stream until the end, because by the end of this video, I'm going to be giving away some good shit for free. So be sure to stick around until the end of this stream. And just going to do the whole sharing work, because sharing is caring. So we're going to be sharing the stream. If you're watching the stream as well, be sure to share it across to your friends on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, tag a friend in the comments. If you're listening to the podcast, man, you've got to listen. You've got to subscribe. You've got to subscribe to the podcast. We're dropping some bombs there on a daily basis, and it's something which is like very dear to me. So be sure to actually, go in there and share the content as well. And as I said before, you want to stick until the end of this stream, because I'm gonna be giving you away some freebies, man. I'm going to be giving you away some freebies, so that's gonna be fun. So today I've got a story to share today, and bear with me a moment as I am sharing this across the platforms. Yes, good. I think we shared. We're all ready to go now, guys. Today, if you're watching the stream, I'm going to show you something. I'm walking around with these days, and it got me thinking about today's topic. I want to talk about mobility, man. And I want to start this by sharing a story. I want to start this by sharing the story of, when I started training. I got to the gym, and it was loaded with equipment. There was literally equipment everywhere, machines there, plates there, barbells, and all this kind of stuff. So like what everybody is doing, I went straight in and I started using the equipment because I wanted to build some muscles. I wanted to build some size. I was doing what every bro is doing in the gym. Coming in there, playing with the machines, filling the pump, and getting some growth in the muscles, and couple of months doing the same routine over and over, and eventually I start feeling the soreness, I start feeling the tiredness, I start feeling that my muscles getting tighter, I start feeling sore, and eventually I had my first major injury. And like most people in the gym, my first major injury came from deadlifting, and I was deadlifting, and I did wreck my back in the process of deadlifting, unfortunately. And it taught me a huge lesson. It taught me that training is not only about going to the gym and picking up weights. It's not only about getting the pump. It's not only about getting that muscle definition. And which brought me to today's topic, because right now I'm injured again. Right now I've got a slight dislocation around my hips. My back is pretty wrecked. I got injured again doing some deadlift. Surprisingly, it wasn't even some heavy weight, man. I got injured doing a 3-plate deadlift as a warm up to my 1 rep max, and it taught me something, man. It taught me the importance of mobility. And today, in today's show, I want to talk to you about mobility, man. It's I believe what is the most overlooked, neglected thing when it comes to training. And I want you to really start thinking about your mobility seriously. I want you to like, by the end of this episode, like, have enough information to be like, okay, you know what? I need to start taking that shit seriously, because I want to share with you like my story, how I got wrecked. At some point I had a slip disc from the deadlifts, and I went through the whole shebang. First of all, I started getting massage from my missus. I got my missus to work on my back and doing all the stretching and keep massaging me. It kind of like eased the pain a little bit. Then I sought professional help. I got myself some sports therapy. The guy was massaging me really hard. He was going really hard on me, and again, it kind of like felt better. From there, I moved to the physio rehab, which was pretty serious, because at some point I couldn't even like raise my leg up. So that's how bad this was, and it got pretty serious when I was doing the physio rehab. That's when obviously I got introduced to a lot of mobility drills for myself, and from that moment on, I've learned that mobility is super important. Like, to the point where I never work out. I never start a workout without mobility drills. Now, there are so many exercises when it comes to like obviously doing your mobility, make sure that you stretch off, you warm up. But again, I want to touch on the benefit of mobility. Like, for somebody like me, since I've been transitioning into strength training, mobility has been a huge it's been a huge impact on my performance. For example, I took my deadlift from 210 kilos to 250 kilos, and that's in the space of 6 months. And of course, I'm going to address that. I'm going to pin it down to great programming, nutrition, exercising, training. But mobility had a huge impact, because again, I had to start working on activating my glutes. I had to start getting greater mobility around my back area, around my posterior chain. That's how it's called scientifically. And really like seeing the impact of mobility every day in my workout was huge, because I would come to the gym and I would literally spend like 15 to 20 minutes doing mobility drills. And having that, going through that rehab, like put me in a situation where I was better connected to my body. I was listening to my body way more. I could understand like how it functioned, how to trigger which muscle at which point. And that was very big for me. And I know that for most guys, including myself, because I've been there as well, when we talk about mobility and stretching and yoga and all this kind of things, I mean, it's a bit girly, I have to say. Like you see girls stretching all the time, you see girls doing yoga all the time. But I just want to say that this shit is super important, man. And you shouldn't neglect mobility work. Now, obviously, you will be doing mobility work for like soft tissue work, like to kind of like release the tension in your muscles. But ultimately, the goal here is for you to move better. And it's something which you don't necessarily need to do with a lot of equipment. As a matter of fact, you don't even need equipment to do mobility drills. Because if you try to touch your toes, for example, and then you can't touch your toes, my friends, you've got a mobility problem. And you need to assess that, If you try to like fold over your leg and then you can't do that, you've got a mobility problem. And this is something I do in great extent in my Rise Academy, where I coach my clients online. And we literally have a whole module on mobility drills. We even have a chiropractor on the platform who is literally like helping you getting self-assessed. Because There is no point. There is literally no point in me as a coach teaching you how to squat, let's say 200 kilos, 300 kilos, 400 kilos, even 500 kilos, if you can squat 500 kilos, without you having the mobility for it. It absolutely useless. It's like, I'm going to put it in a way which is a bit cheeky, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's like having sex without the wetness or any lubricants. And that's just wrong. You know, like, things are not moving in a symbiotic way. And if you think about it, that's what it is. Like, because as you're training, your muscles will get stiff. You will just keep getting stiffer. It's gonna be harder for you to move because your muscles, they've got a volume. They're taking size. They're taking space. So you need to actually adapt your body into like connecting into that direction. It's really, really important. Now, obviously, if you want to look at mobility, there is a huge array of exercises, and I'm going to give you a few pointers on how you could make mobility work for you starting today. Okay, first of all, I know I've got this question coming to me before as well on Instagram. You do not need to make mobility either pre or post workout. As long as you get your mobility in, that's what matters. Some people will prefer to do it before their workout, like me. Some will prefer to do it after the workout, like some other. There is scientific evidence for both sides, so I believe like whatever works for you, do it. But make sure that you tick off the mobility. Now, two is how do you organize your mobility sessions? So, for example, you come into the gym, and what do you do? Like, are you going to just keep repeating the same exercises over and over for your mobility, or are you going to break it down? So this is how I'm approaching it for myself and also for my clients. What we do is we start looking at problem areas first. For example, if you're squatting and then you've got bad ankle mobility or like hips mobility problem, we're going to start addressing it every time before you squat. And that's how we're going to be doing. I believe that mobility is something, when done properly, will generate results straight away. So, for example, yesterday I was at my chiropractor and I couldn't even bring my heels to my ass. You know, and obviously with a bit of tissue work, a bit of pressure in some areas of my body, he was able to release that pressure, and straight away, like within 5 minutes, I was able to bring my heels to my ass. So mobility is something which should actually put you in a better position to move better. And I recommend starting doing your mobility drills depending on the lift or the body parts. And again, as I said before, for the members of my Rise community, of my Rise Academy, people I'm coaching online, we've got a mobility, a mobility module whereby obviously we break it down, like how to address it and what kind of exercise to do. So for example, if today you're training, let's say you're training chest or you're training bench, okay? So your mobility drills are going to be revolving around, let's say, your back, your lats, your shoulders, your chest, why not, you know, like your neck. And this is where you're going to focus your mobility. Now you're probably going to be asking me, okay, how many sets, how long for, how many exercises? This is again down to you. My go-to is I literally do 5 sets, okay? And for postures whereby you need to actually hold the position for some time, and we try to hold the position for like 10 minutes, making sure that we really breathe the right way. And there are many resources out there. Yoga is a great way. By the way, next month I'm going to be trying yoga when I'm fully recovered. I think it's something which is going to be it's going to be very interesting. And so what I want to really boil it down is, you've got to do your mobility, man. It's something which needs to be done. Like, going to the gym and training is not just about lifting weights. You've got to recover right. You've got to make sure that you move right. And if you look at, most of the guys I work with right now, most people come into the program, most people start a training plan, not only because they want to look better, of course, everybody wants to look better, but because they want to have a real impact in their life. It's because you want to be able to move better. You want to be able to bend over. I know you may have a belly in the way, but you want to be able to bend over and then touch your toes, for example. You want to be able to stretch, like to do some things in real life, and that's when mobility comes into place. You've got to do your mobility day in, day out, and it's something you don't need equipment for. You don't need a gym membership for. You've got plenty of resources in terms of mobility that you can follow and then obviously like there is less risk if you know what you're doing. But again, like there's so many resources you can actually go around, play around with it. At the end of the day, it's for a greater purpose. You get better benefits by literally going in and then trying to stretch, trying to actually reach for the next milestone the same way you're doing with your weightlifting, with your cardio, with all these other bits. That's how important mobility is. That's how important mobility should be for you, my friend. So whether you're tall like me, or you're short, or you're skinny, or you're carrying a bit of weight, because now the word overweight or fat is offensive, just make sure that you do your mobility, man. Make sure that you do your mobility. Make sure that you get that ticked off day in, day out. I'm going to be wrapping up this show. It's been a long time I stream on Instagram, so shout out to all my friends on Instagram. Really happy to, not on Instagram, sorry, on Facebook. Very happy to be here with you. Of course, if you got any questions, drop them in the comment and I'll be able to address them. And here is my free gift for you today, guys. I'm offering you free 7 days of online coaching with myself. So you're going to be able to access Rise Academy, which is the online coaching platform designed to help men turn shit around. If you want to really create results for yourself, if you want to create awesome results, keep those results, keep growing those results and impact people around you, be sure to click the link in bio, in the description, in the comments, in the podcast notes. Make sure that you click that button and you're going to get free 7 days of online coaching with myself. And while you're there, wherever you're listening to on this episode, if you're watching the stream on Instagram, if you're watching the stream on Facebook, if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and review. Let me know what you think. And it's been your boy Oli. Can't wait to share some more bombs with you. And I know I've been away, but I'm back, and I'm back for good this time around. Thank you again for showing up. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, review. Peace out. Bye-bye.